You've made a name for yourself. You're getting those amazing referrals, but you can barely get through your email inbox every day. It's time to scale your business. We'll raise a glass and think tank how you can make more money in your business, have more creative freedom, and still have a life. I'm Sandra Funk, and this is Design Sips. Cheers.
Cheers, Sandra. Excited to be here with you today. Okay, so let's dive in. So Sandra, let's start off by talking through, what does scaling mean to you?
So scaling your business is really about getting to the point where you have enough coming in that you just can't handle it all by yourself. So that might mean getting a virtual assistant. That might mean getting more efficient in your processes so you can stay at that one-woman show if that's what your desire. It certainly means looking into technology, systems, processes, and team members to figure out how to handle more with the same amount of time we're all given each and every day.
Absolutely. So we asked designers any questions they had that are around scaling. So let's dive into them.
Indeed.
All right, so Melanie asks, I have a great team in place, but I'm struggling with managing everyone. I want to get it to a place where my core team begins to build their own teams and delegate too. How do I transition to that type of leadership?
Well, so it really begins with a defined process. When you want to start having employees who are managing other employees so that every single person doesn't report back up to you, this is the dream, people, right? You have to have really, really clear systems in place. You also have to have a strong culture in your business. You have to have really clear values, and you have to have a really clear mission so that anyone who you bring onto your team is aligned with those values and that mission. You're all speaking the same language, right? You're all on the same page on what the point of all of this is, and therefore you can start to grow that team, choosing the right people and then letting them, kind of have that hierarchy of being overseen by other employees.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And any advice on getting that process in place? What does that look like?
So getting a really defined process or system in place is laborious, but it is basically documenting every single thing that you do in your firm. That's a repeatable process. So anything that you do more than twice, I would say, is a repeatable process. Any email you send, every process that you walk through, anything that happens over and over and over again as a part of your business needs to be documented, written down, and then it really needs to be refined. So it's not just writing it down, it's then going back through it kind of time and time again and saying, could this be more efficient? Could this, is this happening in the right order? Are there any duplication of efforts? And then ultimately, when you do start to grow, are the right people doing the right tasks? You know what I mean? All of that, when you refine that over and over and over again, all of a sudden you have the normal business, that you have come in, and you process it faster. You move through that process with absolute efficiency. No question marks, no need to have a meeting to talk about next steps because next steps are defined. Now the meeting is just bringing you back real work product that you're reviewing. All those what do I do next conversations are gone forever. So good stuff.
Yes. Well, cheers to being process junkies.
It's a beautiful thing.
What is a process that you are doing in your design business right now that kind of makes you giddy?
One of the processes that we are in the middle of refining and working on right now is basically wooing people that can help us bring referrals in. So we're looking at, is it realtors? Is it architects? Is it other high-end business owners in the neighborhood that would have the same client base that we're looking for? And systematically and intentionally making sure that we stay in touch with those partners and those referral people so that we are constantly giving them great business, giving them great value, and also receiving it in return. All of that, even that can be systematized, and that makes my heart really happy.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I think designers automatically think, I need to process my, purchasing and ordering process. But taking it to the next level and putting your marketing process in place.
100%. It's yes and, right? It's all those process heavy, here's how we take a check and who it goes to and what copy gets made and what it like that stuff. And when a payment comes in, of course, a really defined system is necessary, but also all of your marketing, all of even the referral marketing, right? Even word of mouth can have a boost by intention. And that's really what this is. It's setting intentions in your business and then creating a system to follow it through. The other thing I love about creating a system that scales is writing out those emails, putting out the language, the way that you want it to be said to your clients, to your referral partners, to your vendors and trades, right? If you're going to have team members taking on all of that communication, they should be using your voice. They should be using your values, right? They should be using your brand tone. And so when we pre-write a lot of those emails, or all those emails, as much as humanly possible, it gives them a quick reference. Like, it's so much quicker to say, hey, can you follow up on that open order? And they know exactly what that looks like. It's not just what's going on with that order. It's the purchase order number per our last conversation on date with XYZ person. Like, it's templated because there's details in there that will make their response come to you quicker and more efficiently. And when we increase our speed and we increase our efficiency, we increase our profitability, right? When we move through a project faster, we move on to the next project and make the next design fee, the next commission, the next whatever faster.
Mm-hmm. Which I really think is the actual definition of scaling, is not going through more and more of your money, but trying to be more efficient with it. Right?
Exactly. Taking what you already do and getting more and more efficient at it, while also the clients love an efficient process too, don't forget. So they're even more satisfied when you move quicker through the design phase. Listen, we can't control purchasing timelines, that part, or labor timelines. We can't control that part, but what we can control is from new potential client interaction all the way through to when we are purchasing or when we are starting the construction on a project. So we can only control what we control. And then we have to hold their hand and be a really good support system while we sit and wait for these lengthy projects to occur, right? So, but again, if the whole timeline of a project is outside of our control, just take the chunk that you can handle and make it the best you possibly can.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Okay, so this is a good question. Amber asks, with a growing team, I'm constantly running into workflow obstacles. How often do you pause and reset a process?
So any process that is actively being used in your business will naturally get refined as you go. So that's not to say that I stop and start over again, but in the flow of work, we will note, what is it? One of the recent ones we did, a scope creep was a recent one that was like so systematized. Like, we went, every time we get increased scope, we need to remember to go all the way back to the beginning. We need to remember to go set a new budget, set a new timeline, and create an addendum to the contract to outline this new budget, the new timeline, the new scope. Because if you just slip it in under the rug, under the current timeline, scope, design agreement, budget, all of it, then it becomes a big pain in your booty. But additional work from an existing amazing client is always a good thing if you give yourself the time, space to do it. So we know this, right? But we didn't have it so clearly defined previously. And in the last couple of years here, that was one of the ones that we finally got like a really defined process. And I'm talking any little bit of scope creep. We go back to the beginning on that, and it really does help us stay right on track and or get paid for and have the timeline to do amazing work, even if it's added in later.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Mm-hmm. And we have an entire episode on scope creep process, so we'll link that below in the description.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dive deep into that.
And we'd be amiss to not share the tools and tech that we use to stay efficient. Do you want to share your favorite?
Sure. So I might be a little obsessed with Asana. Asana is our task management system. It's where we build out all these templates, where every process in our firm lives. It just makes me so happy to know that everything is in there. And I've gone Asana crazy. My husband and kids will make fun of me, but down to like sharpening the knives and oiling the cutting boards. Like, I have my home systematized in Asana. So that's the level to which I take it. And, like Christmas decorating is on an annual, and, all these other things are on their own timelines. And that's how you can look at your life and think about, what do I repeat? What do I need to remember to do every spring? What is going on in my life? Same way you look in your business. What are the things that we have to do year in and year out, right? It's time to start thinking about the holiday cards. And so that pings, up, and it also has the login, where we did it last, here's the contact list from last year. Like, don't leave me going, oh gosh, I wonder where that information is. Like, put everything in one place, and then it auto repeats. Like, it just makes your life so step by step by step, which I love, the work part of the life, right? So you can actually go live the fun, random, by the seat of your pants part of your life. The other tech I love shopping in Wacora. It's one of our favorite little design tech bits, but basically it lets me create a project, and then within that, every room in the project, and then within that, every piece that I need to source within that room. And it gives me that much control to the point where I can get in there and I can put a note that says, I need a dining table, and this is the ideal size, and I need this many chairs, and they can't be wider than this because I need to make sure I cram 10 people at this dining table, right? So when you can get yourself that organized, guess what? You can hand sourcing off to the newest member of the team who's, totally can't wait to get their hands on some real design work. They can go with this much constraints. You can note the budget, you can note everything in there, what you're looking for. They can go and give you 3-4 options. And then you can sit at the end of the day, again, looking at work product, not looking at what they should be doing next, because it's all been defined. And you can sit at the end of the night and just go, this one, that one, this one, nope, need more options, here, there, blah, blah, blah. And keep kind of culling it down until you have this like truly amazing design. But like, I'm not out there going looking for a dining table anymore. I'm refining the dining table options that the team put together, because I have the clarity and the structure in place for them to be able to do that. They don't have to get inside my head because I've got it out of my head so that someone can go out and do that legwork for me. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about efficiency, right? I'm still setting the tone for that design and bringing in, the inspiration and where we're going for this and setting that tone. They're doing the legwork, and then I do the final cull down and decision making and refine and back and forth with the team as much as we need till we're there. So that's what I want you to think about when we think about scaling the business and what kind of work could go to someone else. On another note, if every bit of design you never want to give any one piece of that away, that's totally okay too. Systematize the purchasing, systematize the accounting, systematize the expediting, right? Systematize the marketing. Hand those bits off. If you never ever want to let that design piece go, don't. Just hire people that do all the other business entities that support you being an incredible designer. And when I say hire, you don't have to have a whole big team in-house. These can be freelancers, they can be experts, it can be with a firm that has a whole bunch of virtual assistants, so that if the one that you're working with is moving on to a new phase of life, they provide you with another, you can get into a relationship with different companies that will help you bookkeeping, expediting, virtual assistant, whatever it is, so that you're not constantly managing the HR portion of that as well, which is thumbs up to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So we have a lot of really amazing one-woman shows in our community, and to them, they might hear the word scale and be like, oh, not for me, I'm not hiring. Do you have advice for someone who is maybe looking to grow, but it doesn't necessarily look like a full-time hire?
Yes, definitely. So a couple things. It's an amazing thing to do, to bring in interns in the industry if you can. And by if you can, I mean if you have the capacity, because you do need to spend time teaching when you bring on an intern. There is an exchange that goes on there if they're going to be getting school credit, which is a wonderful way to do it. It's an amazing way for you to pass on your knowledge to the next generation of designers coming up, and or graphic designers, marketing experts, videographers, photographers. Like, again, don't just think designers only. Get wider with that. It could even be an accounting intern, right? It could be a bookkeeper. It could be all the things. Look at your business holistically and think about interns in that realm. That's an amazing like toe in the water just to see how that goes. And also don't forget, they do not need to be in your local market. They can be virtual and they can be working from anywhere. So that is a great kind of first step. In addition, if even that level is like too much for you, you really don't want to have to manage people at all, then it's about getting more internally efficient, more and more and more efficient internally, so that your processes are just flowing. Like every step in the process is just next. And there's no like waking up at 3 a.m. going, oh my gosh, should I remember to do this? And did I take a copy of that check before I deposited it? Or, because like every step in the process is like check, right? That's really, if you're committed to being a one-woman show, which I totally love, then becoming more and more efficient internally is the way that you can scale your business.
Mm-hmm. Cheers
to that.
Okay, and then Pam asks, the leads are coming in more and more, but we're unable to keep up with getting them through the qualifying process fast enough. Any advice to keep this efficient so that I can keep my pipeline full and not start off on the wrong foot with these potential clients?
Yes, definitely. So you may have noticed, get a system in place. So one of the things that we do is we clearly identify our ideal client, kind of who they are, where they live, what kind of career they have, maybe, if that's important to you, if they're a family or a single or an empty nester or, newly married. Who are your favorite clients to work with? Who are you most passionate working with? Who is profitable for you? Like, who do you find makes decisions quickly, thus moves through the process quickly, right? So it's really about knowing exactly who your ideal client is. And then when you define it to that level, where they hang out, blah, 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 where they eat dinner, what restaurants they go to, all the stuff. When you get that clear, you can see the forest through the trees. When they come, you're like, oh, that's my client. Like, I see you. You're one of my clients, right? And you also see the ones that don't fit, right? They're a little bit outside your area, or they are, they're downsizing and you're really into newlyweds, right? Like, you just see who you're looking for really clearly. So this is about niching down a bit, but it doesn't need to mean that you only do kitchens. It can just mean that you niche down because you know who you serve best. That's another way to niche. I always got afraid of the word niching because I was like, well, I'm not just going to do nurseries. Like, if someone hires me, I'm going to do every room in their house, but that's not what we mean when we say niching down. We mean like, what's your neighborhood? What's your geographic area? Who are your people? Like, what's your sweet spot? That's niching down. And then speaking directly to them in all of your marketing to draw them to you. And then when they show up, you recognize them from across the room. And then also have a very defined call script in place. Well, first of all, have your contact form have some required fields that tell you really important things. You need to know their address, for instance, because you need to decide, am I going to work in that location? And then that initial call, have that scripted so that every single time you go through an initial call, you get all the information you need to be able to determine, am I going to spend more time with this person, or are they not my ideal client? When you have that script so clear, you can also hand that script off to a virtual assistant, an intern, or you can do it yourself if you really want to. This was the first thing that I outsourced when I started to scale my business, because I can personally get pulled by the heartstrings a little too much and end up really wanting to do the work for someone who's been watching my career or saving up to work with me, right? Those little things that they say, which they're just being so sweet and so kind, but all of a sudden I'm putting down my boundaries. I'm not looking at, are they my ideal client? Now I want to help them, right? The people pleaser in me comes out, and I feel gratitude that they have been wanting to work with me, and I have a really hard time saying no. So that is literally the first thing I outsourced. And when I do that, then I can look at the information. And of course, whoever took that intake is going to say, and they said some really nice things, and that's fine, but I'm not hearing it directly from them. I can take just that one step of distance, which helps me make a better decision. So systematize. And then you are only hopping on, and then I do, so that initial call, and then you're only hopping on that next call or showing up at their home if you are like, this is one of my ideal clients. I cannot wait to meet them. I cannot wait to sign them. And that just really takes that down huge. And congratulations for having that much people reaching out. That's amazing. Just don't forget, wait for the whales, right? Wait for the big, kind whales. Those are my ideal clients. They are kind humans with great, big, beautiful projects, right? Figure out who your ideal client is and then wait for the right one, especially if you've got that much coming at you. Cheers.
Cheers. And so we have an actual entire process for qualifying leads and onboarding them. But we, in the interior design standard, but we love this script so much that we want you guys to have it for free. So you can get that. I'll put the link on the screen, interiordesignstandard.com/dream.
Yeah, that's our little gift to you today. Thank you for being with us. And that call script is so gold because it'll really help you sift through all the noise and just find your ideal client, just like that.
Yes. Okay, and our last question, Sandra, is from James, and he says, how does your program help designers scale their businesses?
So my program, the Interior Design Standard, is instrumental in helping designers scale their business because it is all the processes that go into any interior design business, all completely documented. So documented, refined, used by me for years and years and years, used by hundreds of other designers in our industry. So if you are looking to get organized, get systematized, get scale your business, be able to one day hire an employee or be able to run the employees that you have now more efficiently, any of those things, then the standard is definitely worth checking out. We've got tons of information. You can check it all out at interiordesignstandard.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.